In this video, we are going to talk about how to build a better introduction so that you can convert more interest into clients. My name is Chris Milton. I'm the CEO of 323 Media Group, and we do content marketing for people who are looking to create great engagement with their clients and convert more interest into new clients and new opportunities. And what we do is kind of what we're going to cover in this video for a lot of people, and that's being able to take the authority that you have within your space and turn that into information that allows people to be a lot more warm and comfortable with you when they first get in touch. And some people will think this is kind of magic. Some people will think this is incredible, but in reality, it's just understanding what to share and the context where someone can actually read it. So in this video, we're going to talk about two places that you need to be able to have this longer form introduction. The most important one is on your website, and that's going to be a homepage or your about page, the place where most people are going to be landing on your website for the first time and seeing your brand as a first impression. They might have seen you on social media, they might have seen you on Google listings or somewhere else, but feeling like they're stepping into your brand, whether that's like stepping into your office or your home, is the feeling that we want them to have when they come to your website. We want them to feel comfortable. And so that's the most important aspect of this that we want to talk about. The other part of it is where there's opportunities for long form descriptions. And these long form descriptions can be great for SEO, but it can also be really helpful for people who are making comparisons and trying to look at different opportunities, because I'll bet that you look at your competitors and see that they don't have a very good job of this at all. And it's because it's a missed opportunity for most businesses. Most businesses, when they see that there's a long form spot on Facebook where you can describe more about your business, a long form spot on Google Business within Google Maps that you can have a long form explanation that's there, even within Yelp and the About section on LinkedIn, those long paragraph length opportunities where the character count is like over 1,000, it scares off a lot of people because they don't know what to say. So in today's exercise, I want you to think about that first off. The formula that we use for the short form content is who you are, what you do, and who you do it for, whether that's a person, a company, or a location. And you're going to expand on that in all of this so that it's very consistent. So the first thing I would do is write that down and use your short form description as the first thing that you're going to talk about. And so who you are, your company name, it can be the full version, but the thing that accurately represents you. You know, you don't need to have the legal name that is there that could include some more qualifiers at the end of it. That's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for readable content that is concise and someone can digest what you do. The next part of understanding what you do is breaking down your best services. Now that you have a longer form opportunity, you can expand a little bit, but not necessarily to really break out all the things you do. You don't want a bulleted list here. Being able to have an explanation of what your category is or what your overall service is fine, because then below we're able to break that down into specifics. Okay, so the next part, the part 3, is who. Whether that's a type of company, a type of person, a location, or a combination of a couple of those things. You know, you could specifically focus on helping people over 55 that are just within the metropolitan area of Houston, Texas, with their blood work and check-ins as a nursing company that needs to make sure that all of that information gets back to their doctor for their care regimen. Perfect. That's great. It's an awesome combination because it gives you more information to filter down and make the person that you're trying to appeal to feel like they're in the right place. So if we're going to look at that idea of that story arc and saying, here's who I am, this is what I do, and this is who I do it for, then below you're able to talk about the areas that you service in terms of the who, or more detail about the clients that are there. But specifically within this breakdown, you want to then take that more generic idea of what you do and break it down into categories. The reason that you want to be able to do this is because there's kind of 3 reasons for it. The first is that it gives someone the ability to match exactly what they're looking for with what you do without leaving other things on the table. You can talk about complementary services afterwards. But the idea with this is that then you're able to have 5 different bullet points below, 6 different bullet points below, and breaking down specific things that people would be looking for that fall within your overall services. And it doesn't mean that that's all they're going to look for, but it makes sure that they understand that they're in the right place. So take those bullet points and say, here's all of the bullet points that we do, and then write out different descriptions of what that means in terms of what someone needs to know. What would they be asking about that service? We'll answer it ahead of time before they ask. One of the most interesting things that we've seen within our world happen again and again and again is when you say, we didn't know that we needed it, but we absolutely love it. And that was a quote that came out after Steve Jobs introduced the iPod, that it was something that was on nobody's radar. And suddenly it was like, oh my gosh, we love it. We want it. We need it. But we didn't know that we wanted it. And we didn't even know that it could exist. And so that's kind of the idea here. You're not doing something revolutionary, and that's not exactly what I'm trying to say. But what I am trying to say is when there's a question that can be asked, you certainly can take the time to answer it ahead of time as just a brief little answer, so that someone says, yeah, I was wondering about that. I trust this person because they gave me that information up front. And that's part of the magic. The last part of it is being able to talk about your service area and your customers who are there. This can eventually lead into testimonials and be a great place on your website, but you'll probably run out of space before getting to all of that within the different description areas. So by this point, you should probably run out of space, but you should try to have your last sentence as just a call to action. We're booking 3 to 6 months out. Get in touch with us now for an appointment. If you have more information, come to our website. Whatever that is, you want to be able to bookend it. So your breakdown should look like this in that long form section so that it's visually easier to read. A block of text, bullet points, final sentence, call to action. And this you can change a little bit, and the only place that you really want to switch it so that it works in different areas are those bullet points. Make them a little bit shorter. In some cases, you might have to take out the description and just have the bullet points listed of services. But visually, somebody who's trying to scan quickly and see what you do, they're going to be able to see those things highlighted and pointed out instead of them being buried in the text. So visually, it's much more appealing to read. For your website, that homepage should have all of that information. But those can be different blocks. Stylistically, depending on how your website is designed, they can be paired with different images that you have, whether that's images of your team or stock images, but have it in a section where those are blocked off and you're scrolling through to get to the next one. This page, as you're offering these descriptions, can be longer, and the booking widgets that you can do for a better user experience can be tied to each one of those services. Maybe because there's different information that you want to have from those persons that are asking for different services, but it's a great way to look at it. So you've got your introduction, you've got all of those different services that are broken out, and then you've got your call to action. But that call to action can actually be changed. Your footer covers a lot of that information already on your website, and instead of it just being a line of text, have that attached to each service so that when someone sees what they need, they can act right away and they don't have to scroll further. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. It doesn't need to be obnoxiously large as a button to push, but that should go to the place that is their call to action. A call now, book appointment now, a survey questionnaire, downloading more information like a form or a lead magnet that they need to fill out before they can get started. Whatever works for your business, make sure that when someone sees what they need and they know what they need, they can act on it right away instead of having to go back and then, change what they're looking for. With 5 or 10 minutes of time just with a contact form to be able to customize so that your customer doesn't have to pull down what they already know, you can create 5 different versions so that that's already pre-populated, and it's a nice little opportunity for them to say, this person listened to me. They know that I want service B. Perfect. That's great. So this is a way that it can automatically start to build more trust. It can show that you as a business owner understand who they are and you're listening to what they are, what their needs are, and how you can help them. And so you can actually foster a lot of trust just by building out a better description and a better first impression. But the biggest hurdle with a lot of this is that you've been in your business for a long time. You've been taking care of people. You know the ins and outs of your craft. You're by far the expert in the space. But the magic of your authority being translated into something that works for a first person is a first impression with someone new, is that you can actually take the time to understand where they're at and never forget that. Being able to say, this is the journey that you're going on, and this is step one. This is what we do, and this is why we do it, and we're glad you're here because we're good at what we do and all of this. That comes through with your authority on the site. This is also how you can reduce some time administratively answering the same questions over and over again. But the point of it is be able to get past the expert level that you have on a daily basis, where you probably thrive off of answering the more difficult questions because they're new, they're different, they're interesting. But in reality, the place where you can win is by taking this time to get out of the expert shoes and get back into the helping shoes that will get the person with a first impression warmed up and say, yes, I really want to work with you. Doing this through your website is a way that it creates efficiency, and you don't have to keep going back to it and feeling like you're always doing 101 or you're always talking to somebody that really doesn't know anything about what they're doing. So let's get that done as a process with your website so that you can have all of that content broken down. It's something that you can use as a reference tool. It's something that your team can use to reference what you're saying with your answer without having to bug you for the answer. And it's something that clients will 100% appreciate, and it actually gets you better clients overall. So this has been a fun game of content marketing matchmaking, where you're creating content that is designed to meet the needs of your ideal best fit customers and clients. And I hope that this is something you can apply in your business. It doesn't take a whole lot of technical effort. It takes you and your authority as an expert in your space. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with. If there's anything that you want to share or questions that you have, get in touch. Happy to see what you've made and take a look for myself. Have a great day.